Hey guys, just going to do another review of a generator. I know what you're saying. You just did one of these. Well, I did. I have a friend who has a hunting shack that's in the middle of nowhere, completely off the grid, and I brought up my other champion inverter with the remote start. We put that in the generator shed, and they quickly realized how nice it is to have a remote start. So needless to say, that is staying up there, which afforded me the opportunity to get the model I really wanted for my camper after having some experiences with it. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But anyways, this is the new Champion Model 20987. This one's an enclosed inverter generator. It's 4,500 watt starting and then 3,500 running watts. It's got the Champion branded engine, runs on regular unleaded gasoline. I always run 91 non-oxy and either put stable or something in it when I'm storing it. You can get 14 and a half hours of runtime on an average load with the economy mode running, so that's quite a bit of runtime. And the decibel rating on this is 62 decibels, which is quite a bit quieter than my open frame model. My primary use for this one is for camping. So even the difference of about 5 or 6 decibels can be pretty significant, especially when you're out in the woods or you're somewhere where you might have some neighbors camping not too far from you. That's just being considerate, I guess. So I'm going to do a walk around of this. We'll talk about it. I'll show you some things that I really like and maybe just a couple minor annoyances. But overall, this thing is awesome. So the front of the panel here has been redesigned. It's got kind of a fresh, clean look. I really enjoy it. I'll start with the dial here. So it's got this easy start dial. By the way, if my nose is running at all, it's about 5 degrees in Minnesota Fahrenheit. I actually had to put a sweatshirt on to film this today, so I hope you guys are happy. So you've got the easy start dial here. This is the new designed IntelliGauge. It's got sort of a blue LCD display. It's not on right now. I find it a lot easier to read than the other one. It's got electronic choke, which is right here. It's got your sync button for the wireless remote start, which we'll talk about in a bit. The economy mode button, and then an electronic circuit breaker. It does have a low oil shutoff. And then the IntelliGauge here will also tell you the current load on the generator. Over here, when this is running, it'll tell you the voltage, the frequency in hertz, and in the US where we run at 60 hertz. And then also tell you the current generator runtime in hours and minutes, and then the total generator runtime. Moving over here, you've got your 12 volt. This is your sort of standard like automotive style plug. Champion does send a USB adapter there, but you could also buy a set of like charging cables or something and have 12 volts at up to 8 amps. So that's just a nice feature to have. The battery on-off switch is here. When you're not using the generator, you want to make sure this is off. Otherwise, if it's on, it does have, I believe, somewhere between 1 or 200 milliamps of draw. So you could potentially drain your battery down if you don't remember to turn that off in the off season, or when it's going to be sitting for a while. On the 110 volt side, 120 volt side, you've got standard 2 outlets here. These are rated for 20 amps. And then the reason I bought it is for the RV style plug here. This is still 120 volts, but this will supply up to 30 amps. In total, you can get... So you could run, if you had some standard extension cords, you could run some more off of, you could run some off of here, and then also run a partial load on the 30 amp side as well. Now, it's not 30 plus 20 by any stretch of the imagination, so make sure you don't do that. This will put out 30 amps, but it's just whatever the total combination is of the two when you have a load. Down at the bottom here, it does have the Paralink option. So if you wanted to link 2 of these together, you could. And then your grounding here. Now this is it's a floating neutral. Some RVs with various surge protector systems, they want to see a bonded neutral. I won't go into the details on that. There are some simple ways that you can do that with the panel here or making a bonded neutral plug. but that's a topic for another day. It's got down here, it's got an integrated carry handle. Super nice with the wheels. This thing wheels around very easily, and it's super easy to do one-handed. There are also 2 handles on the top here. These are powder coated, extremely durable. They're very sturdy. They just feel super robust. So I appreciate that. Also on the front side here, this is one of my minor annoyances. I'm not sure why they did this, but this is just a standard like screw head, a flathead screw. So in order to get access to the panel here, I can do it with my fingers still, especially with these grippy gloves. Pop this out and you have access to your battery panel here. Now when you get this unit, the battery comes disconnected obviously, which is a good thing, but it does come with a standard automotive style 12-volt plug here. Now it's not this one, I actually added this. So I took the battery out, pulled it out of here, and I added another one of these. And the one that connects into the generator is the exact same thing, but now I just leave that connected, then I don't have to mess with it anymore. And when I want to put this on my trickle charger, I have my own plug right here and it tucks away nicely. But I'm glad that Champion included that now. It just makes it easy. So all you'd have to do is take out the power cord here, unplug it, and you could plug it into your trickle charger. It's super easy to do. But it's got easy access to the battery compartment, which is nice. Also, when you get the unit, there's just, I can't remember if it's 4 or 6 shipping bolts underneath here. All you do is unbolt that and put in the supplied oil, add your gas, and you're literally off and running. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that, so that's pretty cool. On the top of the unit here, it's got your start guide if you forget. Come over here, fuel indicator, obviously your fuel capacity, some other notes. One thing I've always said that I appreciate about Champion, they put their phone number right here. If you got any questions on getting up and running, you can give them a call. Obviously, like anybody, we're in the pandemic still, so I'm sure they're quite busy. But somebody's always there, and I think they even extended their call center hours if you do have a question. I didn't even open the manual for this. This really was super easy. One thing I would never do, and I wouldn't suggest you to do, is to buy a portable generator that doesn't have the recoil start. Life happens. Sometimes we forget to charge our batteries up, and if you don't have a way to start this thing manually, you might be in trouble. So always got to have this. I wouldn't buy one without. Down here, see, now this is what I'm talking about. They just put like a thumb screw on this. Super easy to do. I don't know why they didn't do that on the front. Check this out for maintenance. Let's see if I can focus in on that. Look at this. The remote oil drain is right here. Now, everything's stiff. It's single digits here today. But to change your oil, run the unit for a bit, get that oil warmed up, put your pan underneath here, take off this yellow cap, and you're draining oil. It's that simple. I love these things. One less thing that I have to install because they already did it for you. So kudos to them. Break-in period on this is 5 hours. So run it for 5 hours and then go ahead and change out the oil. After that, you can run a standard or a full synthetic. I tend to favor the full synthetics, so that's what I'll do after my 5 hours of break-in. Backside here, exhaust with a pretty stout spark arrestor. In another video online, bless YouTube, but somebody said, yeah, take this off and that's how you get access to your spark plug. Folks, this is a muffler. There's no spark plug here, so please don't go looking for your spark plug here. Spark arrestor, that's what that little screen is on the muffler side. So this would be the noisier side of the generator. If you're camping or something, make sure you're not within about 5 feet of combustibles. Sometimes there's a rare chance that a spark could fly out of there, and obviously you don't want it going into some tinder. Other side of the generator here, so there's just some 2 screw holes here, and if you needed access to the cover here, pop this off and you'd have access to the whole side of the generator if you needed to get in there to look at something or get into some more service, but otherwise that panel's kind of meant to stay on. So let's get to the meat and potatoes as to probably why you're here. So there's 3 ways to start it. I already showed you the recoil start, manual recoil there. There's also, you can start it by just using the buttons on the front of the machine. I'm going to show you that first. So what you'd want to do when you come up to it, first thing, turn your battery switch on. Might be difficult to see here, and plus I got my gloves on, but it just illuminated there, so I know I've got power. Next thing, turn your easy start dial over to the green. Now you'll notice nothing comes up on the display. Nothing will until it's running. Keep in mind, I think it's 6 degrees or so right now. We had about minus 11 Fahrenheit last night, air temp. So I don't know, this thing's going to be really put through the pace here to try to get started. So I've done all this. I'm going to turn on the choke. Now, remember, this is electronic choke, and I'm doing this because I'm starting it using the buttons here. So press and hold the button for just a half a second or so. And it is difficult to see, but because I'm in the sun here. But this did illuminate, so I know that my choke is on. Then I'm going to press the button here this way, hold it until it starts, or in this case, it'll probably take a second to get going, but that's how you start it. Imagine that this is your key. Now, it does automatically start with economy mode, so what I'm going to try to do is turn it off of economy mode as soon as it gets going, just to allow the engine RPMs to ramp up a bit. So we'll give it a second, and now the choke does turn off, so I'm going to press it again to turn that back on. Boy, it's tough to see in the sunlight here. Okay, there we go. We'll go again. So you notice the display just turned on there. I'm going to leave the choke on for just a second because it is so cold out. Turned off the economy mode. And I'm going to shut the choke off about now. Wow, I can't believe that got going. She is cold. Okay, so I'm going to let me step away from this on the front side, so I'm away from the exhaust. Let's see, right about here, I'm about 12 feet from the generator. Now this is coming through a cell phone here, folks, so I know it's difficult to judge volume, but this thing is quiet, and it's a very pleasant tone. It's not annoying. It doesn't sound like a set of glass packs on your 70s Chevy pickup. It's a fine tone. So if I go on the exhaust side, now I'm about 3 feet away, so obviously that's louder. All right. So now when you're done with the unit, to turn it off, all you do is flip the dial to the off position. It shuts off. Now remember, our battery's still on, so if I'm going to be using this today, not a problem. Leave that on and you're good to go. Let's make life the easiest, which is why we're probably all here. It's for this remote. Super simple. Comes with a carabiner. Top button, press and hold to start, and you only press it for about a half second. Don't sit there and hold it like you're turning the key like you would using the dial. To stop it, just press that bottom button. I have tested this out to 80 feet like they claim. It works fine. Line of sight, no problem at all, 80 feet away. Okay, so if I'm at my camper, I would leave it in this position here. Put it in the green, battery's on. Don't mess with anything on the display. When you use the wireless remote, everything is automatic, including the choke. It will automatically go into economy mode. If you have a big load starting up, like if you're running air conditioner, this will automatically take it off of economy mode to supply the proper load. And I don't think I mentioned it, but this will run a 15,000 BTU air conditioner. Mine is a 13,500 in the camper, so obviously it's not going to have an issue with that. Okay, so let's take a step back. So let me see if I can focus in on it here. There we go. So that top button is the start. I'm going to press it, listen for the click. And it's literally that simple. Up and running. So let it run. Press that bottom button. Let's see if I can focus. There we go. Bottom button to stop it. Listen for the click. Right there. Back to peace and quiet. And the best thing is you don't even have to go out to change anything yourself. This thing is seriously, it's the cat's meow. I don't know if I'm getting more seasoned in life or what, but I really appreciate waking up in the pajamas and like pressing the button and I can get the coffee going. I don't have to go out there, get all the dew all over yourself and everything. I'm not trying to be lazy. I actually find that I save more gas and I use this thing less because of the remote. Because otherwise you do get a little lazy. You don't want to get out there and turn the thing on, then get out there to turn it off. I can just press the button and I'm back to peace and quiet. I got the power there when I need it, and I can turn it off simply when I don't. So this thing is it's just great. I love it. One other little tip. I leave my the camper plugged into this all the time, but when you're starting and shutting it off, I recommend using the circuit breaker panel in your camper. Imagine as this thing's starting up, it's starting to produce power, but it's not obviously at full power. So it's just better for your sensitive electronic equipment to have instant on power. And you can do that by just using the breakers in your panel. Also, I didn't mention it, but this is an inverter model. So the way that these work, there's obviously the motor turns a generator, which produces AC power. Then through a series of circuitry, and what I like to say is sheer magic, it creates very clean sine wave DC power that has an extremely low total harmonic distortion, so less than 3%. What all that means is the sine wave is very clean. And so your power is good for computers, sensitive electronics, even tankless water heaters have a lot of circuitry in them, and they'll benefit from having that clean power. So it's good to have, and plus they just run, I think they run better than some of the open frame ones. Anyway, so after that DC power is made, then it converts it back over to AC, and that's how you have your clean AC power. So that's what the inverter part of this means. So anyways, I hope you guys found this helpful. Just a quick rundown of everything. If you have any questions, or if you have this model and you have any tips or tricks, be sure to let us know. I'm always looking to learn. I appreciate the people who put out videos when I'm looking to buy something new, so I'm just trying to return the favor there. So I've had good luck with Champion. As you guys know, I've got quite a few of their items. I tend to be brand loyal when I find something I like, so hopefully if you're in the market for one of these, you found this helpful. Thanks, guys.